Little things that should probably be bigger things, but I had neither the time nor inclination to make them so because I needed to take it easy for a couple of days. So, in this May 10, 2018, file photo, Phil Mickelson, left, and Tiger Woods shake hands after the first round of the Players' Championship golf tournament in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Golf.com is reporting that Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods are contemplating a $10 million winner-take-all exhibition match. Lynn Sladky, the Associated Press: the only way I could care a bit about some $10 million golf match between Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson would be if they were playing for their own cash, if they went to their bankers and said, "Hey, give me $5 million cash, I got a game on the weekend," and we saw what transpired. This proposed match game was back in the news the last couple of days. Here's a link to a story, with the participants suggesting it's still a possibility. Article continued. Bellowand, while the grotesque amount of money that might be at stake is titillating, this will take both of us out of our comfort zone. Mickelson told Golf.com, according to the SI story, "I can't imagine I could care less that they'd be playing for wads of cash put up by sponsors or other outsiders. Now, each would seem to have the resources to put their own money up, and that, and only that, would get me to wildly interested in the outcome, even though I personally would hope both could somehow lose. Or, better yet, let them put up their own oodles of money and play each other for the charity of the winner's choice, maybe inner-city golf programs, some kind of educational charity so teachers wouldn't have to buy their own supplies, a school lunch program, some medical research. That would be fantastic and something I could truly get behind. But two guys playing for someone else's money with that alone at stake? Yawn. The purse, of course, is insane and one of those gigantic numbers that's almost unfathomable to normal people. It's like those convoluted end-of-the-season PGA Tour playoffs that culminate in some untold amount of money being at stake for the guy who may or may not win the final tournament." Article continued below. Something that might have been lost amid all the chatter about LeBron's move to the Lakers and what it means for the Eastern Conference. Who's the favorite? What teams do you have to scheme to beat like you did Cleveland? Is this? If the growing majority gets its way, there won't be an East in 2 or 3 years, so that kind of thinking shouldn't enter into any kind of roster building. If the NBA goes to seeding playoff teams 1 to 16 as now seems inevitable, yes, there's still a fair bit of mail that I need to get to, but, as I said, it's been a few days of rest and there's really not enough for a full mailbag. So go on over to ask.thestar.ca, say hello and ask whatever you like, and I promise to throw it all together for later in the week. There's usually some odd protection attached to NBA trades that take some figuring out and delays any chance to really determine who won a deal, because the particulars may not be determined for years. The same goes for what are basically future considerations attached to some deals, and it reached its nadir last week. In case you missed it, and I imagine many did, the Brooklyn Nets moved Jeremy Lin to the Atlanta Hawks the other night on a deal that included a second-round draft pick in 2025. Now, the deal was essentially a salary dump by the Nets, and that's all well and good, but think of it this way. In addition to Lin and the 1-year, $12.5 million left on his contract, the Hawks also got the rights to a kid who is 11 years old today. Wonder who the mock drafts have going with that pick. Speaking of NBA trades, the Raptors, to the surprise of no one, have let the trade exceptions created by the DeMar Carroll and Corey Joseph transactions of last summer expire this week. Given the roster, the salary commitments and the regular season success, there was no need to use them. They couldn't have been aggregated or added to an outgoing player. They only lasted a calendar year, and it made no sense either last February at the trade deadline or this month's free agency period to use them. And the next time there's a trade and we all point out that a trade exception has been created by it, don't get too worked up. They often expire unused throughout the league and are basically a tool to have buried in the box. Oh yeah, one other Raptors move, again widely anticipated. they let the deadline for picking up an Alfonso McKinney option for 2018-19 come and go. He'll be waived. They'll save some chump change and the Raptors will have 2 or 3 roster spots available with end-of-the-bench guys later on if they want. Okay, it's about time I got back to some semblance of normal, so we'll be back at least a couple of times here the rest of this week and try to ramp up our efforts the rest of this month and all of August. If there's anything you want to see or read, just let me know. Thanks.